There we go. Now I'm live. All right. Got to make sure that I'm positioned well so you can still see my book there. All right. So today I do want to talk to you about your email design with the caveat that this is not a service that I provide for my clients. I do help write emails. So if you need help with that, I'm your girl. I'm not going to do the design for you, but I did want to talk really quickly about the benefits of having an email design set up for your website. I use MailChimp, so I know it's possible to do this in MailChimp. I assume it's possible in Constant Contact and some of the others as well. You can either use one of they have a bunch of templates that they use. You can just take one of their templates and use it and put that up as your email template that you use for all of your newsletters. You can also create your own email template and just save it as a template and reuse it again and again. I do this for my newsletter. It makes it so much easier. It takes me, seriously, guys, like 15, 20 minutes to put together my newsletter, get it ready to go out, because I know exactly what is going to go into each and every newsletter. I am not reinventing the wheel here. This is not something totally new that I'm doing each and every time. It's just, what am I promoting this week? I call it the topic of the week, right? So it's usually, I'll actually go into that in a little bit. Right now, I want to talk about some of the benefits of using one email design for not for all of your emails. I'll talk about that a little bit, but for your regular newsletter that goes out every week, every month, bi-weekly, however often it is that you put out your newsletter, you want to make sure that you've got that. Like I said, it makes it so much easier for you to know this goes here, this goes here, this is where I'm promoting such and such. Bam, you're done. Second of all, consistency. People like to know what to expect from you. Some of my favorite newsletters that I follow, I get to see exactly what is going on. And I love that, because it's like, okay, I'm going to skip down to this part and I'm going to get what I need, and then I can delete it and get on with my day, right? Sometimes they're longer emails. I do recommend, in general, keeping it short for your emails. There are a few newsletters for which I will make an exception, and I will take the time to read those long newsletters, right? And when I say time, I mean like 10, maybe 15 minutes for the really long ones, right? But I know how long those are. I know how they're laid out. I know how long it's going to take me. So I set aside that time. I don't open them until I know I have time to read them. So that is something to consider, as well as, do your people really want to read that longer content, or do you just want to give them the quick and dirty tips and tricks that they need? I find with blog posts, usually people are looking for an answer for a specific question. They're more likely to spend time. And I've talked so many times about how Google likes that longer content, right? Even if people are not reading the entire blog post, they are more likely to consume that content because they're going to be likely to find what they need in your content when you have covered everything there is to cover on that topic. So long blog post doesn't always need to be a novel length blog post, right? But in general, there are benefits to creating longer blog posts. Emails, not so much. Email is something that shows up in our inbox. Yes, we asked for it. Yes, we actively said, please sign me up for your newsletter. Hopefully your subscribers did. If they did not, you can get in trouble. So make sure that everyone is opting in to receive your newsletters. But it's still, when it actually comes, it's either at the beginning of the day, we're trying to get through our email that came overnight so that we can get on with our day, or it's at the end of the day and we just want to kind of get through our email and get it cleaned up so that we can get the heck out of here, right? So that's how I tend to think of my emails, at least. Maybe you love your emails. I don't know. Maybe you want to spend all day in your inbox. I don't want to spend all day in my inbox. I want to get what I need, see if anyone reached out to me, see if there are any fires I need to put out, anything that I need to respond to right away. That's it. That's all I care about with my emails. So I recommend keeping it super short. And again, breaking it up. Like I said, I love those emails that I get, those newsletters that I subscribe to. I tend to skip that big part in the beginning where they're like, this is what's going on with my life today. Yeah, I don't actually care. I want to get to the resources that you always give me towards the end. So I will skip right down to that part, get what I need, get on with my day. So I tend to do the same thing with my blog posts. I do have a whole blog post and a whole other video about what to include in your newsletter. It's a lot of tips, so I'm not going to include all of them here, but I'll give you some tips, just some of the highlights of what you can include in your newsletter. Like I said, blog post, speaking gigs, updates, how-to guides. If you have a new product or service you're launching, blog posts and YouTube videos. I'll talk about that later. If you're running a promotion, if you are promoting anything in particular, if you're having a sale, gift guides, always super popular, right? We just had Father's Day. Next up, I don't think we have another big gift one until Christmas, but Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, right? Big gift holidays. So people need to know what the heck they're going to get for their kids, for their spouses, for their siblings, for their mom and dad, for their aunt and uncle, for their new brother-in-law, right? That they don't just enter the family, they don't really know this person, right? So gift guides are always super popular. Event invitations, event recaps, behind the scenes too, where people love seeing what's behind the scenes. So those are some ideas. Again, I have a whole other video and a whole other blog post that goes into more detail about that. You can check that out later. I am going to tell you how I design my emails. Again, super quick and easy. First of all is the header image. I have it set up so that it automatically autofills with my logo at the very top of the email every time I create a newsletter. For a while, I was playing around with doing different images at the top, something that was relevant to that particular topic. And honestly, I got bored and tired of doing that. And it didn't seem to make a difference. It didn't seem to get me any more opens or more click-throughs or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it simple. Keep the logo in there. Keep that brand consistency. Again, they're seeing my name every time the newsletter goes out. But we are visual creatures. We like having something visual that we can associate with a brand. So I always make sure my logo is always do make sure that your logo is somewhere in there. It doesn't have to be the header image. It could be at the footer, but include your logo somewhere in your newsletter just to be super, super clear who this is coming from. Next up, blog post of the week. What am I talking about this week? I always put a blurb kind of introducing the topic and then a link to my blog post. And then if I have a speaking gig, if I was recently on a podcast, I want to let people know about that so they can attend my speaking gig or so they can listen to the podcast episode. Webinar promotion, this is always going to be either the recording of the webinar that I just hosted, or it will be letting people know about the webinar that is coming up in the next few weeks, next month, whenever the next one is. So always want to promote that. And last but not least, I do always include a video at the end because some people don't want to read my blog post, but they might listen to me talk about it in a video such as this one. I have seen other newsletters where instead of a header image, they put their video up at the very top instead of at the bottom. Absolutely. I know the people who, at least one person who does that has gotten really good results. It has definitely improved her open rate. So keep that in mind. Feel free to play around with it, right? This is my next point. Do some A/B testing. Don't just design your email and be like, ta-da, I'm done. On the one hand, yes, that's the benefit of using a template. But before you finalize your template, play around with it a little bit, do some different things with it, see what really works, what gets you the best results, and then you can solidify it and keep using that one. And then different email designs for different purposes, right? So like I said, that's the design that I use for my newsletter. But then there's my email drip campaign, where if you download the lead magnet off my website, you're going to get something that looks, you're going to get a series of emails before you get onto my regular newsletter. And those are going to look a little bit different. Those are shorter and more text heavy, right? So it's not so much about leading people to my website or my events. It's more about welcoming them to the community, letting them know what they can expect and what they can do if they want to take the next step in the buyer journey, if they want to reach out to me. So that is it. That is everything that I have for you today about how and why you can and absolutely should be using an email design and the best practices to include in there so that you are getting the most out of your newsletter. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to chat. Again, I am Allison Verhalen. My website is AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. So that is avwritingservices.com. And if you want to email me directly, that is info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.